Hey guys, it's Darren. I'm here with my good friend Jessica J, and we're going to be answering your burning questions on dating, relationships, and life that you've sent in via Facebook. So the first one, how do you date if you're in a small town? In other words, how do you meet women? How do you go out? How do you go on dates? My advice is move. Don't be in a small town. Depends really what you mean by small town. But if you're looking like 1,000 people, 2,000 people, really you're just going to have to move.
Is that not enough?
What's that?
Is that not enough people? That's a lot of people.
1,000 people?
Yeah.
In a town? My high school had 1,000 people.
My question is, have you talked to all 1,000 of them?
Yeah, 500 of them are babies and old people.
But what I hear a lot is that it's a small town and everybody's gonna know that I tried talking to her, and like a lot of the anxiety comes from, who cares?
That's why you should move. Depends on what you mean by a small town, right? So if it's like, I'd say under maybe 100,000. Then you need to move. If you're gonna really work on this, if you're gonna dedicate yourself to this. If you're looking at like a small, like almost village size thing, you know what I mean? Like it's a few thousand, maybe 10,000, you're gonna be really limited and you're not gonna be able to take any chances. You're not gonna be able to take any risks. And those risks are really important because that's where you learn from. You learn from your mistakes. And if you can't make any mistakes because you're just paranoid all the time about, everyone finding out and everyone knows everyone, like at that point, you have two options. You have move or do all your practicing in a different town. The town I lived in 10, 15 years ago, we had like 80-some thousand people. And it was okay, but there wasn't much of a nightlife. So I drove 60 miles to San Diego and I drove 100 and something miles to LA every single weekend.
You sound like a stripper. Like who doesn't want to be found out in her hometown.
Except that I didn't make a lot of money and I didn't take clothes off.
You didn't take any of your clothes off?
No.
To me, it's like if you live in a small town, you're like, fuck, I would love to talk to like all these girls, then fine, stay. But if it got to the point where you're like, I can't talk to anybody else, and now I'm like that weird guy that people don't want to talk to anymore, then fine.
Then
drive a couple miles.
Yeah, practice at the nearest big town, or really move. Make that happen. Go to pick a college that's not in that immediate area. Get another job if that's in the cards, and go someplace where you can actually practice. It's the same thing. Imagine if you said, I'm really trying to get good at basketball, but I live in a cowboy town where there are no basketball courts or there's no basketball, whatever. You got to move.
Or there's no one to play basketball with.
Yes. So move where the basketball people are. All right. Second question: how can you game if you're a bigger guy? Now, Jessica and I talked about this earlier, and we don't know whether bigger guy means...
If your dick is that big.
I was going to say, overweight bigger or tall, but we all have our heads in different places, I guess. I'm going to make the assumption that bigger guy in this case means, you're physically bigger, right? You're
linebacker,
yeah, exactly.
Overweight.
Right. And that's something that you're going to want to work on. I think the bigger issue is how does that look in your head? In your head, what's going on? It's probably limitations in your head, more so than there are a lot of girls out there being like, I want to date these really skinny tiny guys, midget guys. No one's saying that, right? So
that's not true.
How many girls do you know that want to date midgets?
Listen, I've always wanted to sleep with a midget just to say that I've slept with a midget.
Yeah.
Well, what if I got to know them? And
you
they were
sleep with
really
a midget?
Yes.
Like the guy in the X-Men movie?
You know who I think is really sexy? The guy from he's really short and he's got this face like this. He looks like
he's a midget and he's really short?
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's amazing. Okay.
That doesn't mean cut out that joke. Damn it.
Does he have really tiny
he's
hands?
from that super nerdy show Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's that guy from the X-Men.
Yeah,
he's not sexy. No, he's not.
Listen, I look at him, I'm like, he's sexy because he walks around like he's sexy. If you see yourself as this big guy who's never gonna get girls, then yes, that's true.
Does he walk around like that in real life?
Probably. I would.
Maybe.
I was on Game of Thrones. I would walk around like that. And I was on X-Men.
He's still 2 feet tall.
But he's my size, so it's
he's
could
shorter
still.
than you.
That's debatable. But he gets the poon.
He's a midget. You're
Let's be
slightly
real.
little people.
He gets laid.
Does he? I don't know.
Oh. Anyway,
even
back
Gary
to bigger
Coleman
guys.
struggled.
That's very true, but he was weird.
I don't know.
Okay, but James Gandolfini, I always thought was very sexy. So sexy.
I don't know who that is.
How do you not know who that is?
Is he a midget?
Tony Soprano? Are you fucking high?
I don't know. This is my
Are you
expertise.
kidding me? You do not know who Tony Soprano is.
It sounds familiar. I just can't picture it in my head.
Tony Soprano's a big guy.
I never watched that.
Just be Tony. That's it.
All right.
You're
so
kidding me.
That's the advice we're going with.
Yes.
Just be Tony.
If you walk around like you're hot shit, you're gonna be hot shit. It doesn't matter what you look like. End of story. Yes, that too.
Jessica will go out with you.
Yes. Oh, ride your dick till it falls off. And then it'll be weird because I already told everybody.
Yes.
Okay, next.
Well, that is all of our questions, guys. Thank you very much for submitting them. We'll be doing this on a regular basis. So find us on Facebook. You'll see the video posted up there, and you'll also see the thread that we will accept questions, and then we'll make another video like this, answer your burning questions on life, relationships, and dating.